Hi everyone, it's Brent from PathandTarot, your content creator for the YouTube channel as well as the blog of the same name. So in this video we're going to be doing a reading where we're going to combine the CBD Tarot deck as well as the Elemental deck that I've custom made. And we're going to be using some of the same techniques that we've used in other videos to draw the cards out from each pile onto the go board, using a little bit of intuition as well as a little bit of pattern matching, and we're going to see how things unfold with the elemental cards and the tarot cards, and we'll see if there's any patterns that come up that are interesting to talk about. I've done something with the tarot decks. You won't see me shuffle them on camera, but what I've done is I shuffled them individually and then I let them sit on top of a few other tarot decks that I have. So I've been sort of charging the tarot decks for a little while, and I have some crystals here that I put on top of the tarot decks to kind of set my intentions in a certain way, as well as to kind of give them something extra. So I've got the crystals right here. I'm just going to toss them onto the board, see what happens. I don't know what that means, but maybe we'll see something happen in these areas, in this sort of pattern here. I don't know if we'll see that, but hey, we're gonna see how this unfolds. So I'll just remove the crystals here and just put them off to the side. So just a quick explanation. Basically what we're going to do is we're just going to be drawing cards off each side of the deck one by one. Just going to move this deck here down a little bit. It slid down. One card off each deck, and we're going to build it up this way. So one by one until we've got cards in this center section, and then we're going to be filling the cards above and below, based on how the suits match, what elements match what, and we're just going to try and construct something that makes sense intuitively based on what we have in the center here. We're going to see what comes out, and we'll get a chance to see how the element cards play against the tarot cards. I haven't done this before. This is the first time that we're going to be doing this. I'm kind of really excited. Again, like I said, the decks have been sitting, and in a way for me, I feel that they've been charging over that time with the crystals as well as the tarot decks that I'm using. Oddly enough, the cards that I drew that these decks were sitting on were Temperance. Hold on. Sorry, I had to go off camera there. Temperance and Strength. An interesting pair of virtues here that I think may influence what's going to happen here on camera. So this is all live. We will do a little bit of cuts where I take the camera off and kind of take you closer into the cards so you can see them better. But yeah, this will be pretty much all live, so what you're going to see unfold will be what happens. I'll be drawing out the cards to fill out the whole mat first before we take the camera off and get closer into it. So without further ado, let's get into this here. So I'm just going to start. It doesn't matter too much, which pile you start from, as long as you alternate between the two. That's all that's really going to matter, so that you can build up your patterns and the cards that way. So I think I'm going to start with the elements here, and I'll draw a card. I'm just placing it right in front of the deck like this. As you can see, the card takes up about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares and 3 wide. So it fits perfectly within the dimensions here, but there's a little bit of space at the bottom, as you can see right here, where I can either slide up or down. So I'm going to use that as we put together patterns, as you'll see in a little bit here. So I've got the first card. I'm going to draw the next card here. This is the 5 of Swords. So already we've got the fire element against the air element. Swords and air match, or that's the relationship between the two. Let's go back to the elements. Interesting, we got another fire card here. So I'm going to have them slid up like that. So we've got the empty space here. I'll match it against this card for the moment. Maybe I can change it later on, we'll see. And right now we have what appears to be a wand. So fire. The interesting thing about actually no, sorry, this is a sword, my mistake. What's challenging about this deck is that the swords and wands look kind of similar to each other. So there we go, we've got two swords, two fire. That's pretty interesting already. Actually no, sorry, I made a mistake. This is the swords, and this is the wands. You know, they're both fives, so already it's, you can actually see and the challenge that this deck sort of gives the user initially. You have to really be aware, you know, which is what. The wands and the swords do look quite similar. So wands, which is fire, and then swords, which is air. Those are the elements that are attributed to those suits. So we've already got a really cool connection right now. You know, two fires on the left side here, and we've got the wands and the swords here. So let's keep going. So we drew the wands here, so let's try another element. So I've got earth. I feel like I want to have the earth here. Maybe I'll angle it that way, because the earth doesn't really connect with any of these cards here. So let's kind of put it in the back corner for now and see what happens elsewhere. So now I have the Cavalier of Wands, so that would be the Knight. So yeah, I'll put it, I think I'll put it up here, because if I was to put it down here, then I'd want to slide the card down like that, but I think I want to keep the cards angled up. So I'm going to have the Cavalier come here, slide it down a bit so it connects to the wands here. So I've got space up there like this. So now I've got like a really solid connection. These are you know, fundamentals that I'm borrowing from the game of Go, so I'm combining some of the two rule sets of how, you know, connections are made on a Go board. So I'm borrowing that with this card spread, and so that's why we have, you know, this, using the space up here so I can connect all the cards literally side by side to get that connection. So we drew the card off there. We're going to go to the next side here, the elements, and oh wow. So we've got air inside of spirit. So this is pretty cool. So what I can do with this, I've got the, I feel like, it belongs up here. Because air had, you know, you want to, if you think of the air, it's usually above the earth. So I think that's sort of almost, you can have use that literally. So I want to connect it down like this. So I've got space here, so there's a nice connection in here. So alright, there we go. So we've got the elements. Let's go back to a tarot card. So again, we've got more swords happening here. So this is the Eight of Swords, as you can see. Oh no, sorry, Nine of Swords. The numerals is a little bit different on the CBD Tarot cards, where you've got four lines, so it's 9. So the obvious choice, I'll put, ooh. See, I can put it here or here. If I put it down here, then I may lose the connection up here, because then I have to slide everything down to connect it here. So I'm actually going to put it right up here above this set of swords. Actually, a good way, if you're printing this deck yourself and you're going to use it, and you know, maybe you have another Tarot de Marseille deck that's unlike this but still similar, a good way to know swords from wands, because we've already made that mistake on camera, or at least almost made it. The swords are sort of bent a little bit versus the wands that are straight. But they do look the same, as you can see. It's very easy to make that mistake. But thankfully here on camera we've got both 5. So logically, well, you can't have the same thing. So there you go. So we've got swords up here. So we've got a really strong, this is really strong in here because you've got the wands. These are fire elements, or the wands, the suit of wands connects to the element of fire. So right here it's very well connected. So we drew a tarot. Let's draw an element. So we've got spirit here. So very, very easy to make that choice. We're going to put it right beside the other spirit card right here. So we've got a really interesting connection already. Now let's do a tarot card. We've got the Queen of Swords. Perfect. So this is, yeah, this is great. So we're going to put it, I'll just have it right up here. Just touch it up a bit. It's perfect. We've got a really strong, we're strengthening this connection almost every time. This is great. So let's go back and do an element. So now with this here, I only have this space open to place cards, but with my elements here, I've got up or down to choose. So we've got a fire. Oh, well, perfect. Look at that. So fire in spirit. So that's going to go perfectly right there, right beside the other spirit. So how unusual is that? We've got both of the sub-elements of fire and spirit together in that configuration. Like, that is just, it's almost uncanny, to be perfectly honest. It's very strange. So we have an even stronger connection now. Here is the top half of the board is being used up by fire and air, with a little bit of spirit kind of pushing itself to the right here into the tarot. So that is pretty interesting. So we did the element. Let's do a tarot. So now we've got cups. So we've got 8. So as you can see, it's the V. Oh, actually, wait a minute. There you go. Sorry, just trying to learn the camera position. So V in 3 lines. So that's 8. Where can I do this? The 8. Where can it? So I feel like it'll fit more down here like this, because the water and the earth are more aligned versus, you know, fire and air, so they have a connection. So maybe these 2 corners would make sense. So now I've just got this space left here, which I'm going to fill up. So let's draw another element card and see what we got. So now we've got spirit inside of earth, so it's the opposite of these sub-elements. So this is interesting. What I could do, I think what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put the spirit element down here and shift it up there so that I can get a close connection, but I don't think I'm going to, all of this I don't want to change. I don't want to slide these cards down, because I could slide the card down like this. But actually, you know what? Maybe I'll do that, because maybe that gives a, there's still a gap here, but there's going to be a gap there anyways, and it'd be nice to have this card connect in with all of that. So even though there's, I'm pushing the gap up this way, but I still have a connection to all of these cards. So I think I'll do that. That makes sense, at least for this moment. Let's see what this card has. So we've got Lovers. Huh, what a cool card to have. What could we do with this? So I could place it, I'll place it beside Cups, because Cups is water. You know, you've got a sense of emotion, love and emotion. That makes sense, so I'll put that there. And here we go. So here's the last element card that we're going to draw. Ha! How about that? So we've got the fire inside of air. So this is pretty crazy because we've got, you know, a very strong foundation of fire with air and spirit. So this is really cool. I feel like, see again, now we're faced with a challenge of how to like reconcile this connection, right? So sliding this up like that, like I had it, gives the, actually, well, here's the thing. Again, if I slide this down, then I've got space up here. So if I, well, maybe I can do that. So I've got, the connection is here, and then it goes up, and it connects there like this. Yeah, we're going to do that. And then let's draw the last tarot card to see what we get. The sun. How beautiful. I think what I'm going to do is have it connect that way, so that we can kind of push up. It'd be nice to have the sun up this way, but maybe in this case we'll have it like this, so that we've got, sorry, bumped the camera. So we have a direct connection here with all this fire, and the sun, you know, literally is a ball of fire. It's a big, huge ball of gas in our galaxy burning away. So, you know, the fire element is almost a literal connection with that. So I think that's an easy move. Let's move, just kind of organize the, there we go. Okay, so what do we got? So we've got the sun. So this makes sense. You know, it's sort of windy. And if you remember in the beginning of the video when we threw our gemstones, did we not have some sort of almost zigzaggedy diagonal? Here's what you can do. Why don't you rewind the video to see where the gemstones landed, and then come back to this point to see if that didn't connect. I feel like it did, because, you know, I remember there's gemstones kind of in the center, up here and down here, and we've got a really strong connection with spirit that kind of pins this whole section up here to this to connect the rest of the cards in here. The wands, fire, swords, air. We've got swords and wands here. We've got more swords than wands in total, but we've also got more fire happening on the left side as well too. So that sort of helps maintain the wand relationship. So I would say that something unusual, or significant at least, has happened through the charging of these decks with the gemstones and the intentions that I put into it, stacking them on top of the tarot decks that I had, that I drew the Temperance card and the Strength card. Wow, how cool is that? That was pretty interesting. So what I'm going to do now is, here, I'll just organize the cards a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is take the camera off and bring it closer into the cards so that you can see them. It's a little bit, you know, there's some distance. So seeing these cards may be challenging. So I'll do that right now. I'll see you in the next cut. Alright, so here we are. This is the next cut of the video. I'm just holding the camera, and so I'll just kind of pull it out here, and you can see the whole spread of cards. Pretty cool color patterns, don't you think? You know, the red and the yellows. I really like the CBD Tarot color design. It's, you know, very much connected to the elemental color scheme here. So let's go and just start from the left side and look at the tarot cards. We've got the cups there. We've got the lovers. Get a good look at that. The sun. And then we've got our wands here. So again, you know, you can see that it's easy to confuse the two. But luckily, we were saved by the fact that they're both 5, so obviously you can't have the same card. So that was easy to catch as a almost mistake. But hey, this is live. You're going to have those blemishes. And actually the blemishes, you know, they really make the end result more real, I feel. Anyways, let's go up here and go to the wands. We've got the swords here again. What is it? The 4 of swords. There you've got, or sorry, not the 4, the 9. You've got the 4 and the dashes. It's kind of difficult to read that 9. It's usually 1 and then an X, but in this case you've got the V with the 4 dashes, or the four lines. But the Queen of Swords, get a good look at the Queen there. Pretty interesting. Red and yellow, blue, green. Yeah, very cool. And then here let's look at the elements. So we've got fire and spirit. And there's the spirit, air and spirit. You've got the 2 fires there. And again, you've got spirit and the air fire, and then we've got the earth kind of right down the bottom left-hand corner. But this is kind of interesting because earth and water definitely connect more together, and it's nice that they're actually pinning this whole mat down from the bottom up. I think that's a really cool connection, actually, because of that. So here we go. That is kind of the end result. So why don't we just go through it like so, so you can get a better look. We'll go down, left, right. Maybe we'll go side to side like that. Oh, went out of focus a bit. Come on. There you go. Is that better? Is that in focus more? There we go. That should do it. And then you can get a look at some of the spaces left. Here, I'll try and point it out. So you've got the space down there, and then you've got the space up here, some space in here, some space up there. So you can, this kind of helps to show the literal connection between the cards. Like these are all connected, but you still got a connection going into here that takes you upwards into this part of it. The earth and the spirit fire are somewhat, you know, they're offset a bit, but then so are these cards as well. Also, we may even, you know, we could slide this up like that, because these are major arcana cards and they technically would connect. So why don't we, maybe I'll do that as like the final adjustment so that we can start in lovers, you know, maybe passion. That's very nice, and just have it go all the way through into the connection we've got here. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. The last final adjustment there. And we have our final spread. I'm going to put this back onto the tripod here, and we'll finish this off. Okay, so we're back onto the tripod here, and we've got our final spread to look at. We moved the Lovers card up a little bit so that we can get the 2 major arcana connections. I'm just gonna touch up these cards, get them kind of moved nicely together like so. There we go. I think that feels pretty good. Oh, I touched the camera there. Okay, all right. I think that'll do. So we've got our connection starting here, I feel, and then up this way into it like this. So that turned out pretty well, and actually quite satisfied with the end result. There'll be some product link descriptions, product links in the description, as well as the link to my blog where you can read more about tarot. There'll be some helpful links for you to investigate if you feel like you've got the time for that. You know, make sure you subscribe to the channel. like the video, share it if you want. The video schedule for this is sort of infrequent, but we're trying to get videos out fairly regularly. So definitely subscribe and hit the bell thing there to get notifications when new videos come out. You can also sign up for the mailing list on the website as well to get email updates. Those are a little less more infrequent as well, but when I do an email, it's usually for good reason, to give you a collection of a lot of updates all together. So you don't hear from me quite often. There's not a lot of spam in that. There's usually just when I email, it'll be fairly high quality links and almost like a progress report. You could think of it like that. So take advantage of that there. But that's it. This is going to conclude the video. This was really great. I think there was a lot that went into setting the intention of these decks and using the gemstones to kind of charge the decks, leaving the cards shuffled. I pre-shuffled these cards and I put them on top of 2 tarot decks that I drew cards off of and had the cards basically face up. So I put the deck on top of the faced up card, and I just let that sit overnight. So it was charging the whole time along with my intentions. So this video is technically many days in the making. So this is the end result, and here you go. So have a good look at the spread before we end this off. Alright, that's good, right? Yeah, you can pause it if you want. There you go. So, thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.